done for Adam Schiff, because he created 3 years of a massive fallacy that did so much damage to this country and made us miss probably one of the most important stories of our lifetime. We were having hearings on impeachment while the coronavirus was exploding.
Greg Gutfeld just obliterated Adam Schiff with a roast so harsh it had Congress ringing with laughter. With sharp wit and a smirk you could practically hear through the screen, Gutfeld went after Schiff's dramatic posturing, baseless predictions, and constant need to be the center of every political drama. If Schiff thought he could keep spinning stories without pushback, this ruthless comedic takedown showed him otherwise. No censors, no compassion, just non-stop, top-tier ridicule.
Pop their dentures when Schiff finally gets censored. And so the House condemns the lies of the man with the zombie eyes. Last night, the House voted on party lines to censure Adam Schiff for promoting the Trump-Russia collusion hoax, which was as believable as Brian Kilmeade getting fan mail. 2 for 2. Schiff becomes only the 26th member ever to be censured, but to his credit, he's still the only member to have a 12-inch neck.
If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and tap the bell icon for updates. Greg Gutfeld didn't need a script, fancy lighting, or dramatic music to take aim at Adam Schiff. All it took was Schiff's expressions, his tone, and a camera, because the man practically roasted himself every time he spoke. Gutfeld treated him like a recurring extra in a political sitcom who somehow believed he was the tragic hero of a Shakespeare play. And Greg? He was the guy in the back row, cracking jokes with a bucket of popcorn and a smirk that stretched ear to ear.
The curb, and the irony is superb. He went crying to mommy on an app run by Chinese commies. Congressman Adam Schiff announced this morning he's running for U.S. Senate in California, which is guaranteed to boost U-Haul rentals headed for Texas. He unveiled the highly polished and produced political ad right on the heels of getting booted from the House Intel Committee. Coincidence? I think not.
According to Gutfeld, the real charm in roasting Adam Schiff was that the guy never seemed to realize it. Schiff wandered around Washington like a glitchy AI bot stuck on Cold War spy novels and old CNN scripts. He looked like he hadn't cracked a smile since the late 80s and talked like he rehearsed in the mirror for hours, only for his lines to still fall flat like a soggy towel. Gutfeld was loving every second of it. To him, Schiff was the never-ending source of leaked secrets, lost credibility, and vanishing common sense.
Hearings on impeachment while the coronavirus was exploding. We talked about that virus in green rooms, but we had to do this impeachment story. We had to show these hearings. It's all on him, man. He's got to go. They got to investigate him. They got to hold him accountable. I'm not going to say he should go to prison, but my evil twin will say he should go away to prison for a very long time.
Gutfeld started with Schiff's eyes, those wide, bugged-out orbs that always looked like he was frozen in a state of breaking news. He joked that Adam Schiff's default expression was mild panic, like he'd suddenly remembered he left the oven on during a top-secret briefing. Every time Schiff approached a microphone, Greg quipped, it was like watching a meerkat try to give the State of the Union. The urgency was there, but nobody had any clue what for.
Congressman Schiff, how are you?
Shame, shame, shame. Shame on you. Oh, yeah. Oh, excuse me, Mr. Gutfeld.
So, Congressman, I got to ask, how did it feel to have your ass chewed out like that in front of your colleagues?
Oh, well, I will say this, Mr. Gutfeld, it feels...
And then there was the voice, that flat, slow, almost trance-like tone that made everything he said feel like doomsday was just 3 messages away. Gutfeld mocked how Schiff could take something as minor as a parking ticket and spin it into a national emergency. He joked that Schiff's speeches weren't persuasive, they were sleep aids. The guy could be warning about asteroids headed straight for Earth, and you'd still be scrolling your phone, waiting for the moment it actually got interesting.
That and the fact that Schiff hasn't blinked since 1992. And he didn't take the news so well. The disgraced Democrat went on TikTok to complain. Behold.
Hello, I'm Congressman Adam Schiff with some troubling news. Today, Kevin McCarthy removed me from the House Intelligence Committee, all for doing my job, for holding Trump accountable and standing up to the extreme MAGA Republicans.
But what really drove Greg crazy was the delusion. Schiff didn't just think he was right, He truly believed he was the last honest man standing in a city full of crooks. He walked around like a self-proclaimed prophet, calling out corruption while leaking more than a toddler's water balloon. Gutfeld called it pure performance art, dramatic, preachy, and always perfectly timed for political drama. He ripped into Schiff's greatest hits, starting with the never-ending saga of the Russia investigation. Greg said watching Schiff claim he had proof of collusion was like watching a guy on the boardwalk promise he could levitate, if you just gave him 5 more minutes. Schiff hyped every bombshell like a carnival pitchman, but the tent always caved in. No fireworks, just some flickering sparklers and a busted megaphone. Gutfeld pointed out how Schiff never backed down, never corrected himself, and didn't even blink. Instead, he doubled down, like a guy who lost everything at the poker table but still tried to bluff with an Uno card. Schiff didn't change course, he dug in deeper. Every wrong prediction, every baseless claim was quickly followed by another urgent warning, another serious face, and another developing story that never actually went anywhere.
Oh my. So Adam Schiff now admits he should have been much more clear about how he unleashed the impeachment circus. Note, when a politician says they should be much more clear, they mean, I wish you hadn't caught me lying to your face.
I should have been much more clear, and I said so the minute it was brought to my attention that I was referring to the fact that when the whistleblower filed the complaint, we had not heard from the whistleblower. We wanted to bring the whistleblower in at that time, but I should have been much more clear about that.
You know, instead of trying to be clear, it might just save time if you just decide.
And Greg couldn't help but notice the smugness. Schiff didn't talk to people, he talked down to them, like a substitute teacher convinced he was changing the world with a lesson plan full of civics and disappointment. Gutfeld said Schiff had the charm of a DMV kiosk and the warmth of an IRS audit. He wasn't just lacking a sense of humor, he seemed allergic to it. Every joke, jab, or ounce of sarcasm bounced right off Schiff like eggs sliding off a Teflon-coated ego. Then came the hearings, which Gutfeld described as Schiff's one-man off-Broadway show. Part fantasy, part fiction, part farce. He ran the committees like a stage director, obsessed with camera angles of himself, moving facts around like props, and cutting off witnesses as if he were auditioning for a courtroom drama. Greg joked that if Schiff ever hosted a game show, the answer would always be Russia, and the prize would be more subpoenas. And the media? They ate it up. They treated Schiff like a strange hybrid of James Bond and Gandalf. Every time he spoke, the headlines followed like baby ducks, repeating the same worn-out lines in new bold fonts. Gutfeld called it the Schiff echo chamber, where facts were irrelevant and only the background music mattered. And Schiff basked in it. He wasn't just a congressman, he was a dramatic performance wrapped in a suit that was 2 sizes too serious.
It'd be bad when the Republicans took over, but it's far worse than we expected.
Cue the violins, people. But can he promise you this?
But I can promise you this is not the end of my fight for our democracy. This is just the beginning. Please join us and contribute today. Thank you.
Here's my question. How much will it cost for you not to run?
Greg couldn't help but mock Schiff's relationship with the truth, or lack thereof. He dubbed him the king of the almost factual, the nearly verified, and the just about believable statement. According to Gutfeld, Schiff didn't lie, he simply hosted faucets like Airbnb guests that refused to leave. And when those claims inevitably got debunked, Schiff would casually shift gears and launch into another serious speech about how democracy was hanging by a thread. Gutfeld ripped into the irony of a man obsessed with fighting disinformation while handing it out like Halloween candy. He painted Schiff as the guy warning you about scams while wearing a trench coat stocked with snake oil. A man who promised transparency but operated more like a magician surrounded by smoke and mirrors. It wasn't integrity, it was story control, disguised as patriotism. And then came the book deals. Of course, there were book deals. Gutfeld ridiculed how Schiff wrote his memoirs like he'd just returned from a classified mission behind enemy lines, not from 3 years of cable news appearances. The title, Gutfeld joked, might as well have been How I Saved Democracy Without Really Trying. He called it fan fiction with footnotes, a self-congratulatory tale where the hero was always right and the bad guys all wore red ties.
Schiff champions transparency, all the while saying the whistleblower might not testify because it's a safety concern, he maintains, because we all know CIA agents can't protect themselves against non-existent threats, or that our government can't protect him from your Aunt Sally.
Our primary interest right now is making sure that that person is protected. Indeed, now there's more than one whistleblower that they are protected. And given that we already have the call record, we don't need the whistleblower who wasn't on the call to tell us what took place during the call. We have the best evidence of.
Greg even took shots at Schiff style, because it's Gutfeld, and no detail is off limits. He mocked the suits that looked like they came from a clearance rack labeled nervous accountants, and the ties that gave off strong high school debate team runner-up vibes. Schiff didn't just seem out of place, he looked like he'd been vacuum sealed and shipped straight from the Department of Redundancy Department. Gutfeld joked that he dressed like someone trying to camouflage with the curtains at a local town hall. And then there was the face, oh, the face. Greg had a field day with Schiff's permanently mismatched expressions. He claimed Schiff had one default setting, startled owl in a courtroom. No matter the subject, war, taxes, even birthday cake, he always looked like someone had just flashed a live ferret in front of him. His go-to emotion was mild panic, seasoned.